My name is Tafadzwa Matinenga. I'm a contract consultant here in the US, and I'm a born free.
Okay. So tell me, Tafadzwa, what exactly comes to your mind whenever someone talks about independence, especially in a Zimbabwean context?
You know, independence has a bittersweet um, feeling for me. I'm proud that, I can be able to say that we gained our independence. But at the same time, I have so much emotion when I think about my country and what is going on. I now live in a far off country where I have limitations. I am aware I hear so much that is going on in my country. Especially today I was actually thinking about how much when I was young I used to be able to read all these books about Chitepo and all these people who fought the liberation struggle. You know, they went outside the country. And I can actually relate to that. I'm outside the country. They came back to fight for Zimbabwe. Unfortunately, we're not able to go back now because of the economic situation that is now rampaging our country.
Now, I know that you're a youth, you have your own business, which means you have a fair understanding of how economics should work. Now, how do you think that as the youth, what role do you think we can play with regards to revamping the Zimbabwean economy in the future?
Honestly, I can tell the youth, stay empowered. Don't let that give up juice, don't drink that give up juice on you. Just stay empowered. No matter, I know it's difficult, it's a struggle, but for me, I always remember, even here, even I know I'm privileged that I'm lucky that I can be able to work, but it's also so uncertain. You don't know when you may have your last assignment. You don't know what may happen tomorrow. So you always have to remain equipped. We remember when my mother, even though she was working, but she was also, she had a tomato, she grew vegetables in the garden. She was selling cement. She multitasked. And that is what I have decided to take upon myself, being here, and that I have to be on the move. So, when I think of Zimbabwe and I think about the youth, I want to encourage them to remain remain empowered. Don't let what is happening, the surrounding environment. Fine, it's not in your control, but at least you can at least try to control where you want to channel your thoughts, where you want to channel your energy. And that even relates to how we relate even to the politics in Zimbabwe. In America, we have so much that is going on with the Trump administration, and you may feel despondent. You don't want to vote. You don't want to take part. But, that doesn't mean that I should not have, my voice cannot be heard. I encourage Zimbabweans to speak up. I encourage the youth to speak up, even if it means that you're having the conversation with your parents or with as friends. But speak up, and if it's maybe too dangerous for you to go out in the streets, because I know maybe it's different here. We can go. We are allowed to go. However, when it comes to that point, when it comes to that time where you can exercise your power, and that power in the vote, don't be despondent. Take on that power, remain empowered, and just know that at the end of the day, you've done something.
Now, Tafadzwa, tell me something. What kind of future do you want for Zimbabwe as the youth?
I remember, and I know this is always, people talk about Zimbabwe being a country full of milk and honey.
The breadbasket of Southern Africa.
Exactly. I remember when we could be able to feed Southern Africa with maize. That is the country that I want to go back to. I want to go back to a country where I feel Zimbabwe is my option. Right now, Zimbabwe is not an option for me. It's a country where I was born. It's a country where I have family, but it's not an option. And that is not where, that is what I'm trying to, I want Zimbabwe to be my main option. Wherever else I go is just, these are just vacations or whatever, we can call it. But I want Zimbabwe to be my, actually not just an option, but my home base, where I feel I can be able to grow, and where I can feel like I can be able to be productive and take care of my family.
Now, how do you feel? Recently, people have been laughing and cracking jokes about what's recently happened in Zimbabwe with our Minister Dokora saying, you can now, parents can now pay for children's school fees with, livestock. As a youth, how does that make you feel? 37 years down the line, Zimbabwe is independent, and yet we're now having to resort to pay for school fees with livestock.
For me, it's actually not a laughing matter. It actually
You're laughing
makes
right now.
It really makes me angry, the least, because I cannot believe that this is the extent. And the thing that actually makes it worse for me is because every time we hear something happening in Zimbabwe, you almost don't want to believe it, but it's happening. And that is where I feel like, that is why I still am trying to tell the youth, be empowered, hold these people accountable. Let them know that this is unacceptable. Try to find whatever means that is possible. And I'm not trying to say go and risk your life. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is stand together. Stand together and make a loud no and tell them this is unacceptable. Because at the end of the day, these people are relying on us, citizens, for their bread and butter. So if we were to stand together in solidarity and say this is unacceptable, we will not. I think it's very important to exercise that that voice, and just don't be reluctant on it. Just trust that.